Or have hair touch down to their feet. Why would somebody's greatest wish to be that? That is also one of the dumbest wishes I think I've ever heard. No offense to anyone who does want that. It's just like, I find it kind of dumb unless you don't, because like, I just find it dumb if you don't have a reason. Like, does this guy have a really good reason? Like, they just want to show off. But like, it just sounds pretty weird when you say it without an explanation. Why am I still talking about this? Hello, I'm Disney Magic Maddox. Oh, Max was Poe, really, but dunno. And thank you for stopping by here at the most magical channel on Off. Now, I'm here to talk about Disney's newest movie, Wish. I recently watched Wish, and what I was thinking is, when I watched it, how is this guy the main villain? The guy who created what might be the happiest society in Disney history. I mean, like, look at these people. This is Broadway on the street. Let me explain Wish to you. It's about this girl named Asa who thinks this king is in the wrong for taking people's wishes. Well, it's less taking more like the people just give their wishes to him. And that the people forget their wishes. See, this guy can grant the wishes, but only if he wants. So she plans to rise up against him, defeat him, and then give the wishes to everybody. But what confuses me is that this guy, the villain, King Magnifico, plan for how to run this place makes way more sense than how Arthur thinks it should be run. I'm here to talk about how King Magnifico isn't the villain. And by the end of this, you might realize that Arthur isn't the flawless hero you think he is. Let's see, what makes a villain? A villain's greedy. A villain is kind to people. A villain loses their power. Let's see if they have a lot of it. This dude literally traveled the world learning about magic so he could grant people's greatest dreams and wishes. Does that sound greedy and selfish? I don't think so. But does he ask for anything in return in exchange for granting these people's greatest wishes? No. No, he doesn't. You might be saying something like, oh, but he's so obsessed with himself. He's always complimenting himself and stuff. One, what's evil about that?
If mirrors love my face, it's genetics. Yeah, I got these genes from outer space.
And two, people keep telling him that he's handsome throughout the movie. Someone says something like, I'm a great fighter. But people keep telling him that he's a great fighter. He's just repeating what people keep telling him. What's wrong with that? And his whole obsession with himself is even that much. Like, so he thinks he's handsome. But, like, it's not to, like, Gaston levels. Might be saying right now. Making them forget what they want most in the world. But you see, there's a lot of people who'd say that's a good thing. Some people would rather forget about their dreams because there's a chance that they'll never come true. And some people would actually appreciate what he's doing. So they don't remember that they were unable to do that. Like, I wouldn't give him my wrists and stuff to him, but some people would be happy to. And not to mention that he lets anyone come live in his kingdom and doesn't ask them for anything in exchange. Wait, does this mean he doesn't charge people taxes? This dude has literally created heaven on earth. He grants wishes to people who just see him as a person who can grant wishes and not as an actual person. They don't deserve him. A specific scene of him being very generous, actually, is when He's trying to figure out who is the person who did all that star magic. So he tells everyone, whoever gives him information about it, wish will be granted. But whoever helps the traitor, the person who did all the star magic, wish will never be granted. Which is completely fair. I mean, like, be the same as saying they're siding with the traitor, they'll get thrown in jail and be punished. If they help in any way, they'll be rewarded. It's pretty... what he does here is insanely logical. Now, villains don't treat people right. King Magnifico, on the other hand, we already discussed how great he treats his kingdom and everyone in it. He also has a wife. I mean, how many Disney villains have a wife? Seriously, how many? Like, Magnifico might be the first Disney villain I've ever seen to actually have a wife. I need to think about that. Who he clearly cares about. His wife.
As am I. Everything is fine.
You might say something like, he tried to kill his wife later in the movie. But that was after he got possessed by his book of dark magic. Which does happen, and that's where he does actual evil things. So, not his fault. Did I say not his fault? Not his fault.
Can't talk today.
So, everything he did after being possessed by the spellbook does not count. The spellbook, he did not want to lose. And villains lose their power. You've heard everything I said so far. Though aware that this guy does not lose his power. Like, maybe he doesn't grant everyone's wishes. But that is so insanely smart. Like, we can't grant everyone's wishes. People have some dark wishes. And when people willingly give you their wishes, it's up to you what to do with them. He was perfectly entitled to everything he did. This dude is seriously one of the most generous people in Disney history. Now that we've gotten Magnifico out of the way, let's talk about how Asa isn't the best planner. Because her plan is insanely flawed. Like, so what she's doing is good, of course. She wanted to get her Saba, her grandpa, his wish back, because she found out it was never going to be granted. But he said not to do that, but she does it anyway. Like, Saba is glad that she does it. But it was still very likely that he'd just say, why did you do this? I told you not to do this, but you did anyway. Also, Asa contradicts herself a lot about her morals. When one of her friends is like, hey, they'll try to cheat the system when she tries to become the king's apprentice, she's like, I'm not trying to cheat anything. Because if she's the king's apprentice, then she and her family will have a better chance of getting their wishes granted. That's what that guy right there says. I don't remember his name. But she tries to cheat the system anyway by asking Magnifico to grant her Saba's wish. Magnifico's answer to not granting her Saba's wish is this.
What? A rebellious mob, perhaps? To inspire them to do what?
She goes to get her Saba's wish. And then she creates the mob. And how does she rally all them? By scaring them, saying the king's so evil, he's so scary, we should rise up against him. Then the generous guy who grants our wishes when he feels like it. But it's still very generous. It's a lie that Luke caused everything. No, it is not. Luke committing treason is what caused all this fighting. Even the queen joins the mob. Whose side do you want? Should you be, supporting the husband? Like, so I admit he's being possessed by dark magic. But still, they're gonna join a mob full of teenagers and help them rise up against him? And it took you, like, how long to decide this? No, what? What have you guys learned from any of this? That fighting angers the king? That's treason. Treason angers the king. And that the king is being possessed? Why are you acting like the king was this bad the whole time? And that these guys don't even acknowledge that he's being possessed. It's pretty obvious. Also, just trying to make herself look bad in comparison. Season manipulator. Not gonna try to spoil too much, but long story short, they defeat Magnifico. And the queen takes over and everything. But now, Asa is the one who grants people's wishes. Vissy becomes a fey godmother. But what did she dissolve? What did she do to dissolve that? She did not dissolve that. The king had to travel across the whole world to grant people's wishes. Asa makes a wish on a star, sings of her songs, and now she can grant wishes. Okay, so maybe I changed opinion on wish now. Maybe I didn't. But I appreciate you coming by anyway. I recommend Wish. It was pretty good. It's not just the best, it definitely had some flaws, like some of the characters. Did they even say the names of some of the so-called main characters? Because, like, a lot of Asa's friends, I feel like names were never even mentioned. But never mind. But it was still pretty entertaining. It had great songs. Really good soundtrack. But, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you should, go check out my video about the newest Bluey episode, The Sign, and what I know of it. Or you could check out my video about Varian and why I think he's one of the greatest characters in fiction. But anyway, thanks for stopping by. Here's the most magical channel on earth. Thanks for stopping by that again. Like always, may the magic be with you. Bye!